of the Deyamport.
All righty, people, we are live. Welcome to the Dr. Will Show. Holla at your boy. This is Dr. Will, and I am doing another episode of the show. Kind of hiding back. In-laws are here, so I had to sneak this one in. And I had to do this because we're here today with Walter Duncan. All right, y'all. Creator, founder, QuickKey app. Going to change your life. So we're going to do this show. We're talking about QuickKey, his experiences, what made him form the company, the app, and all that. So here we are. Welcome, Walter, to the show.
How you doing, Dr. Will? I'm so glad to be here. You know, this is a very special weekend for all of us, this Memorial weekend. I had a good friend of mine is a veteran and served, and it was a very challenging tour of duty for him. And one of the things he always says is, don't say Happy Memorial Day to me. And I thought that was so interesting. I'd never heard, I'd always say Happy Memorial Day to anyone that I would see in uniform. He said, no, you know, it's completely fine to say thank you for your service. So to all those who are serving on behalf of this nation, abroad and here, Dr. Will and I both want to, you know, send a warm embrace and from our hearts say thank you for your service and thank you for your sacrifice. And that is so separate from all of the politics of nations, just for that willingness to sacrifice. Second thing I want to say, Dr. Will, if it's all right with you, I want to give a big shout out to one of my Twitter family members, one of my PLN members. Her name is Bobby C07, and I want to ask everybody to go follow her because she's a great educator. She shares wonderful information and always brings a warm heart to her discussions. So yeah, Dr. Will, like we were saying off camera, I am a teacher with 15 years classroom experience, and I'm the co-creator of what's called the QuickKey app. And you know, if I had to sum it up in one word or in one or two sentences, QuickKey turns your phone into a scanner that lets you grade multiple choice questions. I was in a coffee shop the other day talking to someone, and he's like, "What does it do?" I said, "It turns your iPhone into a Scantron machine." Real simple. And I've been talking to a lot of teachers, Dr. Will, and we have over 300,000 quizzes scanned with QuickKey. We're in over 40 countries. It's a movement. But a lot of teachers are enjoying it because they say it saves them time. It's saving them 10 to 15 hours a week because their districts are making, and their schools are making them give exit tickets every day. So they've got 80 to 95 question quizzes to grade every day. But for me, what QuickKey is all about is allowing teachers to never have to teach to a test. Would you say that you're seeing around the country that teachers are under more and more pressure to teach to a test?
They are. Now, whether or not it's coming from the district level or their school administrator, I don't know, but a lot of them, you know, are really concerned about test scores, job security, student performance, etc. And so that's an issue that weighs heavily on them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I would say I've seen in my experience teachers who are very creative out of fear, not even a boss really saying you have to do this, but out of their own fear, allowing their classroom to almost become a worksheet factory, being afraid to implement new technology, being afraid to take risks, but just, you know, almost minimizing, making it just worksheet after worksheet, out of fear that if they don't do that, their students won't achieve on the standardized test. So for me, QuickKey was about, I've got a tool on my phone that can grade my exit tickets. That happens to be what I use. You know, everyone has their own different type of formative assessment. I swear by the exit ticket because that was how my students in 2012 in Massachusetts were in the top 15% of all students in Massachusetts on the English Language Arts MCAS, right? So I get results using my method of exit tickets every day and then getting the data from the exit tickets to drive my next day's instruction. But what I found was by getting that data every day, it gave me a proof on whether or not that day's lesson worked. And you know, Dr. Will, I try and do crazy things in the classroom, standing on the tables, taking the kids outside into the snow to write haikus, uh, any sort of creative outside the box thing I can. But when I have those well-crafted exit tickets that are based on my day's objective, then the data I get from that tells me, did I achieve the goal? And so using QuickKey to grade those and get that data back is how I was able to raise test scores without teaching to a test. And that's the power I want to give to all of my colleagues. I think we need it. Because you know, when you go visit or when you go do an observation of a classroom that's filled with a teacher that is full of joy, that's willing to take those risks, how great that is for the kids. And when they're freed from the fear, when they know that they can get that daily data to prove that their children are improving, and they're not worried that when test day comes the kids will not perform, they can do the miraculous things that they do on a daily basis. So that's really what QuickKey is about, Dr. Will, raising test scores without teaching to a test.
Okay, so when teachers hear about your app, particularly those who are hesitant with technology, who are looking at, well, you know, this sounds great, but, you know, this is just another sort of add-on with the mountain of things that I'm supposed to do. What do you say to them who may follow you on Twitter, may follow me on Twitter, may even watch this show on my blog, and they're thinking, this sounds cool, but, you know what I'm saying, why should I sort of give this a try, being that I have so much other things to do?
Dr. Will, that's a great question. And thank you for asking and giving me the opportunity to talk about it, because it's so important to what we stand for at QuickKey. I think I said first, I'm 15 years in the classroom. I'm a teacher first, not a salesman, don't know how to do it well, need help. I'm learning how to be an entrepreneur because I created a tool to help me do my job better, but I'm a teacher first. And what I experienced a lot was that I was getting tools that required me to spend a lot of attention learning how to use them, and that was taking time away from focusing on creative breakthroughs for new lessons or new ways to teach. Right? That was just the reality I was experiencing. And that some of the tools were really, really good. I'm not disparaging some of the tools, but many were hard to learn. I felt like they weren't designed by teachers. And so QuickKey it's just designed by a teacher. It should take you maybe a half hour to get all set up. And since it's on your phone, it doesn't require anyone else to be over your shoulder while you're using it. It just grades your papers and gives you the data output. But more importantly, when teachers try it, they have been surprised at how quickly I get back to them. It's me on the other end of the support ticket, a teacher just like them. And so if they ever do have a problem, they just press the support button in the app, and then I get back to them within an hour. And so even when they, you know, are trying it, or if there's a hiccup, because we do have hiccups when we're learning something new, I'm right there, or one of my former students works for us now. It's cool, right? Like, he's one of my former students, and now he's my iOS developer. If it's a bigger problem than I can handle, he comes on and helps to fix any technical issues. But for the most part, we don't have a lot of problems with QuickKey, and teachers are using it to the tune of 2,000 to 3,500 quizzes graded each day. So they are using it, and more are using it every day. And yeah, so to those who are a little shy about taking on new technology, I say give it a try, and if it gives you a headache, give me a call. Because the first step is that I'll answer your ticket. You'll press the support button, I'll send you a response. But the second step is I'll just tell you to FaceTime me, and if you don't want to FaceTime, I'll tell you to get on the phone call with me, and I'll walk you through it. You know, third step is if that still doesn't fix it, I'll open up your account and go in and get whatever problem fixed. You're never going to be alone because I want you not to spend time learning my technology tool. I want you just to use it. I want you to spend time making creative lessons and executing them every day. Because to the users, Dr. Will, and to you, you know, we stand for the same thing. We do whatever it takes to help children achieve. And we know that that's creative lessons and pushing the envelope, thinking outside the box, teaching like a pirate. And so our tools should just help us get that data to do that better. Does that make sense, Dr. Will?
It does, it does, it does. But now let me get down to the brass tacks of it. In my job, I deal with vendors, and I have people call me up, and right now we're going through some renewals, and so I'm having people call me up and say, all right, let's get the renewal on, and I'm talking, and I'm like, all right, this looks great, etc. Cost, all right. So we get out to the issue of fees. Do you have pricing that an individual teacher can purchase? What are your fees like, or do you have a fee structure for schools? And then for people in my position who deal with the whole district, is there a structure for districts as well to be able to utilize the full capabilities of QuickKey?
Thank you so much for asking that question, Dr. Will. The first level, we will always keep a version of QuickKey that is updated, that is robust, that will allow teachers to get the data from today's class and get exports to look at how those students performed, as well as what were the answers, the incorrect answers that they chose, so they can identify the errors that their students made, as well as the right and wrong answers. We will always offer a version of that for free to any teacher who wants to use it. And that's because I'm a teacher and I spent so much money out of my pockets. For goodness sake, I've heard so many people say that the federal government will give me tax money back for that, but I haven't figured out how to get that money. So if anybody knows, give me a call and tell me. But over the last 15 years, the number is way in the thousands that I've spent on my classroom. And I'm talking more than donuts and pizza. I mean, tools that I needed. So there will be a free version always for teachers. Now, there are some issues with the free version. It works with the individual teacher in that individual class. And so when it is, when schools or departments, sometimes schools want to try it out in a small slice first. So maybe the history department will all take on QuickKey, or maybe just one building in a district will take on QuickKey before everyone takes it on. We have opportunities for these groups to bring their accounts together, so all of the student data can be shared by the teachers and by the administrators, and we can make those data-driven decisions. And that will be very reasonably priced. I like to talk to people to talk about what the price is instead of just say that there's a hard number, but we're extremely reasonable. What's important for us is building relationships based on trust with those that use our product, because we know how high the stakes are. We like to build that relationship and then show. We like to demonstrate that we are there for the long run, that we support, that we follow through, that we help the students and teachers get results. And so yes, we do have price products for schools and for districts, but one version of QuickKey will always be free.
Okay. And so you mentioned, excuse me?
I'm sorry, that's just part of our commitment to teachers around the world.
Awesome. That is so fantastic. So fantastic. So another thing is support.
Yes, sir.
Again, you know, I have someone, hey, let's do this, and it's a situation of, okay, well, what kind of support do you offer with this product? And sometimes someone say, well, you can do we have a couple of webinars, or we have this website, and I'm like, well, teachers need that support, and I need it, because if I'm going to go back into the classrooms to reinforce what's going on, to be able to troubleshoot, to be able to say, oh, this would be another way to use that tool, then I need to learn it myself. So in that, what levels of support or kinds of support do you offer teachers in schools when they take on using QuickKey?
Thank you again for asking that question, Dr. Will. We have three levels of support. The first level is available to everyone who uses QuickKey, which is simply 24-hour email support. We usually get back within an hour to any message. Sometimes we have really high volume, so it takes us just a little bit longer than an hour, but we're pretty good with it. We have a really good track record. We manage it well, and everyone's questions get answered. And we try not to send people form responses for support, so there's actually a person who is looking at their question and thinking about it and giving them a personal answer. I think that's one of the problems with a lot of support when people say, oh, I've got email support. What they mean is they give you just a form response, and a lot of teachers don't find that helpful. You know, they have a specific problem they need help with, and we try and offer that. So that's the first tier. The second is we offer 9 to 5, and this is for contracts with schools, districts, or departments. We offer 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, live phone support. And then we also offer video support package for teachers. So, you know, if the phone support doesn't help them enough, we can also get on face-to-face and walk them through the problem. And I think with the district level, we also you're looking at support that can be in person. If someone travels to the district to sit down with someone like you or your counterpart, and we don't make that punitively expensive. That's just a part of what I was saying earlier about, you know, it's important for us to build a relationship for the long term, show our commitment to teachers and students, and show our commitment to schools and how far we're willing to go to support schools in having success. I mean, Dr. Will, I followed you for quite some time now. I know your commitment to closing the achievement gap. That's my commitment too, and that's what we're all about. The other thing, Dr. Will, I might say, someone asked me, Walter, how come you didn't just make QuickKey just for a bring your own device or just for on a tablet? Why does it have to scan paper? And Dr. Will, I had the experience of teaching in schools where I could not rely on my internet connection. I would get the iPad cart and it would become a contest against my other teachers. It was like I would come in at 6:15 in the morning on Monday to sign up for the iPad cart that week. And my colleagues would get mad at me because they couldn't out-morning me. I have the alarms, they couldn't out-morning me just to get the one iPad cart. And then when I would get it, you know, if there's a problem with the connectivity, all of a sudden, my 90-minute lesson is impacted, and as you know, each of those lessons is so important. So out of that experience, the thing that never failed me was a paper and pencil exit ticket, right? That always was there for me. So that's why QuickKey does that grading that paper. That's why it's not a one-to-one device tool yet, although that will be available in the future. I did want to speak to all of those teachers who we don't have the technology infrastructure, and yet we still have to raise our student performance, and we're committed to do whatever it takes.
Okay. You mentioned iOS, so I know this is an app in the App Store.
Yes, sir.
Are you in the Play Store for Android? And if not, are there plans to get there?
Absolutely. We're building it right now. The important thing is we're lucky. We worked really, really hard in the beginning to make our scanning work really well. One thing I could have done is make QuickKey take a picture and send that picture to a third-party computer to grade it and then get the results back. But then I would have a teacher using their iPad or iPhone using a lot of data if they're on their 4G or 3G. To send high-resolution pictures across the web and then get the results back. So we worked really hard to make everything happen on the phone with or without a connection. So even if there's no Wi-Fi or no cellular connection, QuickKey will work and give you your grades right there on your phone, and then whenever you get to a connection, it'll sync things up and make sure that you've got everything together. And so doing that was the first priority, and we got that right. And so now we're moving that over to Android. The best Android, the most powerful Android devices will be supported first. One of the things about iOS is that the cameras are the same, right? But when you look at Android devices, you've got all these different models, and they have many of them have different cameras. So we just want to make sure we deliver a reliable, high-quality tool. The last thing I need is teachers sitting in their room trying to try out this new tool, and they can't get it to work for one reason or another, and they waste another half hour they didn't have in the first place. You know, we're not going to have that happen. So we're working on the Android, and we're making sure that it's to a high quality like our iOS version. And it will be out before the school year. So we'll be coming into back to school with Android and iOS and Windows Phone on the way. You know, what saddens me is if I was made out of money, that's my favorite statement, right? If I was made out of money, we would already have the Android now, because we find that a lot of people in New Zealand and Australia are using QuickKey. But a lot of people in Brazil and Argentina and Chile, though they are in school right now in full swing, many of them, the majority, are using Android phones. And so they have been requesting QuickKey, and we're working as quick as we can, Dr. Will.
Awesome.
I'm an Android. Yeah, a lot of. And I think, you know, that Google is doing some really interesting things with apps for education, the GAFE, and there's some integration that QuickKey will be able to do with that when we're on the Android platform. So there's a really bright future for giving Android users the tool and for supporting them as well. I mean, I wish I could press fast forward, but getting it right is more important than getting it quick. And isn't that what we teach our students? Right?
Yes, sir. No doubt.
We teach them, get it right. It's okay if you do another version, do another iteration, fix it. You know, when I teach writing, I teach it as a staging process. You draft and you draft and you draft and you draft, and then you publish. So we want to make sure when we publish the Android version that it is the best work, and not just our best work, but the best tool that teachers can use. We very much have a growth mindset ourselves, and we want to support that in our teachers and with those students that they're pushing. That makes sense. You got me out there on a tangent a little. I get so excited talking about teaching and talking about QuickKey. But the values.
Good. Now, before we get out of here, I want to get to the interface and the user experience, because you mentioned how teachers can go ahead and use it, and once they get an internet connection, everything syncs up.
Yes, sir.
So once the teachers are on the internet, what exactly will they see? What kind of data will they see, and how is it explained or given to them? What sort of format is it given to them?
Yes, sir. So there are these two parts to QuickKey. One is the phone part, and everything can happen on the phone. The other part is the web part, and everything can happen on the web. So if you go to www.quickeyapp.com, you can sign up and do everything on the web, and it'll sync it all down to your phone perfectly. Or you can just download the app from the iTunes store, set up your class, make your answer keys on your phone, and it'll sync everything to the web. When you complete your grading of a stack of assignments on your phone, you get a readout. Each student's name, a bar next to it of what percentage they got on it. And then you can press another button on the app, and you can see what were the questions that the students struggled on. So I can see question number 2, 90% of my students got that wrong, but all the other questions they got right. So right there in that moment, I can address the standard or the objective that question 2 was connected with, right there in real time. But I find that teachers often want to dig a little bit deeper in the data. So after school, you can go to quickeyapp.com and you can export. And we have 4 different exports, but 2 are the most popular. The first one is just called Score Sheet Export. That gives a teacher the grades. This student got 9 out of 10, 90%. And teachers are using the score sheet export to upload their grades into their learner management system. So they upload it directly into PowerSchool, or they upload it directly into Edline. But the other export is the one that they are using really to drive their instruction, and that's called the itemization export. And that shows not only what the correct answer is, but it shows what the incorrect answers that the students chose are. And so I can see, oh, the majority of my students not only got question number 3 wrong, but they all chose answer D. And that's because they did PEMDAS in the incorrect order. All right? So that kind of data is very powerful for me, because I go back and in my do now for the next day, I just deal with that issue. You know, I use that whole 5 to 7 minutes of do now to pound that issue. And then, you know, do a quick discussion, and we work sure and make sure that we all have it. And then I put a question that does that same objective and standard in that day's exit ticket to make sure that they've got it so that we move on. And that deeper data digging is what, you know, school leaders and administrators are very appreciative of, because they're using it with their benchmark exams. You know, and since the app is free right now, they're able to get very powerful information.
Awesome, awesome. All righty, this has been awesome having you on the show. It's been very informative, and I hope people get this information to get fired up. They want to do some more investigation and try it out. So on the final, before we are out, what would you like to tell the teachers to really get them inspired and to check QuickKey out?
QuickKey is teacher made. I'm you. We are in the brother and sisterhood of this work, and it is a tool created to help us do our jobs better, more creatively. And if I had to say a tagline, Dr. Will, I would say QuickKey helps you raise test scores without teaching to the test, ever.
Awesome, awesome. All right, folks, this has been fantastic. Now, what you're going to see on the blog along this video, you're going to get Walter's bio, some links, and some information you need to be able to contact him on various social networks and find out additional information about QuickKey. So check out the show, and I hope to see you back on the next episode. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Will.
You're welcome.